Hear ye, hear ye. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. How's it going, everybody? Hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Welcome back to the stream. Sorry about your ears if the French horn was too loud for you. All right. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day so far. Let's go ahead and get a little chat loaded up. Let's get a little chat loaded up. Somebody give me the chat. Somebody load up the chat. Give me the chat. Pop out that chat. Chat out. All right, activate. Activation. All right, I think we're live. I think we're live with chat. Let's test it out. Hello. Aha. We're all good. Okay. Nice. Nice. That's that way on. All right. Nice. Prime. Premium. Let's get into this. Ah, these things are dying. No. Need to throw them on the charger real quick. Let me see if I can put them on there real quick. I need to charge the headphones a little faster though, so I gotta find. Can't use the dock charger. Dang. 1%, 0% on the headphones. Tough. Jabin. Okay. Let that charge here. Dang, that sucks. Didn't think they were dead. I don't think I have a USB-C. I think that might work. I still have a 14 Pro Max, so I still got the Thunderbolt. Give me the thunder! Alright, where? Nada? No USB-C? No USB-C. Nada. It's alright. It's alright. We'll wait a little bit, I guess. That sucks. That sucks real bad. How you guys doing? I don't think there's anybody in here. Maybe we should wait for some folks to get up in here. Alright. Let's check Discord. Let's check Discord. Hopefully we hit 2,800 today. Hopefully. Man, gotta get the headphones charged. Come on, 2%. Keep chugging. Gotta keep pushing. Who's in here? Let me grab a... Hey, we got Lee. Yo! Mr. Lee. How you doing, my guy? Welcome back into the stream. I hope you're doing good. Let's go ahead and while we're waiting for our headphones to charge, let me open up our project and let's show what we got going on here. Waiting for our headphones to charge. Hey, gamer guy. What's up, gamer girl, Tim? How's it going? Welcome back in. So, I have been doing some work, you guys. I stayed awake pretty late last night. I'm a little tired. Let me tell you, my eyes are pretty heavy. My eyes are pretty heavy. But I'm here. I'm ready to go. Trying. Well, staying awake. But I stayed awake last night until like 1:30 in the morning, trying to learn some playwright in Python, which is basically like a web scraping module or a package and library, whatever. And so we got some basic kind of read some of the introductory docs, and it was not too bad. It seems pretty straightforward so far. Honestly, the most difficult part about it for me is understanding the tie with the JavaScript kind of notation, where there's some things I really had to kind of look up because I just had no idea how to do it, um, and I had to get some help on, and I'll show you guys that here in a second. So let's go ahead and walk through what we got written for our Birdie Rose Close project so far. So pretty cool stuff going on. um, we are getting information right now from the Depop. So if you guys aren't aware, we are currently building a kind of full stack platform for a business that I currently work for. Am the partial owner of, wink a wink wink. And oh, whoops. And boom, sorry guys. Bell's ringing. Taco Bell, time for some Taco Bell. Um, but yeah, so Birdie Rose Clothes is a online vintage clothing store, rehoming store, where we pride ourselves in offering vintage clothing and fashionable clothing, good quality clothing, at a affordable price. The affordable price is key, whereas a lot of our competitors have very high markups on their pieces, and their margins are insane, upwards of like thousands of percents, which is pretty nuts on some of their items. Where we pride ourselves in keeping our margins relatively low comparatively. Obviously, margins can be a little bit skewed with the way kind of rehoming items are, because you do find items for relatively cheap sometimes. So margins can not tell you the full story, but I really try my best to keep it to a reasonable price, to something that I personally wouldn't mind paying for the item. Um, I don't like to. I'm a very cheap person, and I'm not cheap. I will spend money on things I like and I want, but it has to be of quality, and it has to be something I will use and last. It has to be something that I actually, and that has to be also, within reason of affordability and asking price, right? I'm not going to overpay for something crazily just because I want it, and I have some limitations to myself for financial responsibilities. So that being said, we pride ourselves in the business on offering our pieces at a very affordable rate compared to some of our competitors, and the quality is very top tier, and it's very nice pieces from the mid 2000s. We're very picky on what we select, and we often my girlfriend has pretty strict criteria. Honestly, I'll show her upwards of like 10 to 15 pieces a haul trip that we do, and she maybe will take 3 or 4 of them, if that, because they're not up to her standards or whatnot. And you can tell that by the curation that she has so far on the site. Now, I will admit the business has gone into a little bit of a sleep because we are pretty busy at the moment in our own personal lives. My girlfriend is a dance teacher. She's a professional dancer. She has a degree in dance and movement and dance and whatnot, and whatever it's called. Um, sorry, my lady, but she has a degree in it. She is a professional teacher and computer, and what would it be, like a team member on like dance teams of whatnot. So very knowledgeable on that front, and so she does her own business stuff inside of that as well. And so that's where her main passions lie. And so but she just has this kind of hobby of this vintage clothing, and I created this business, Birdie Rose Clothes, to basically just supplement her hobby. So instead of now she basically just gets breaks even or gets a slight profit, because of we don't my business model isn't to just blow just take the business crazy, because it's really not, it is more of a hobby, and I want to, kind of pass that vibe down to our customers, I guess. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not the most ruthless businessman out there, we'll say. I'm a pretty reasonable and guy. If I'm not going to pay for it, then I don't think you should either. So I wouldn't charge something crazy. Anywho, end of that story. So currently, pardon me, we're working on a project to actually build like a feeder main hub site that will feed to our platform where we list items, which is on our Instagram and Depop. So currently we are writing a parser or a script or a bot, basically. If you kind of think about it, bots are kind of like seen as like these things, like these little guys that go in and do stuff. But behind the hood, honestly, this is just a bot, right? The bots are just lines of code, just telling you instructions, telling it what to do, and be just mimicking a human movement on a web page, right? And so, like, I kind of had this misperception of what kind of like botting was, because I literally thought of like this little like gremlin that would be going around like, give me your stuff, like doing stuff on the computer, which is kind of funky. And so that's kind of just a little fun little tangent thought. But no, we are no botting, I guess you could say, getting into like the business. But Tim brings up a point here. He says, "Are you worried about getting banned for scraping?" So a lot of businesses have against their terms of service for like scraping data, and so um, I honestly, I'm not like that worried about it. Like if they ban me, they ban me. They're not gonna ban like the business, I don't think. Um, like they don't really know. They can't like tell it's that. But I'm. This is my forefront on it, or my thought process on it, is that I I'm not doing anything malicious to anyone else's data. I'm only getting my own data. Um, I'm only extracting my own content. I own all that content. I put it on their platform to, sell and make money for them as well. And then the purpose of the site is just to get that content, sync it kind of back and forth, because they don't offer an API, which is their own fault. And honestly, in this day and age, and for their customers, their business, customers, their people that sell on their platform, they need them to make money. So I feel like, honestly, from a business standpoint, I don't think they might not have an issue with it, because A, I'm getting my own content. B, I'm not gonna like stress their servers. I'm gonna do this very occasionally just to keep updated on my items. And then C, I'm gonna be feeding business back to them. I'm not opening up a stripe on the website for customers to check out items now on my website rather than through Depop. I'm letting Depop. I really like Depop's platform. I think their fees are very reasonable, and they handle all the shipping aspects as well, between the customer. And so it just makes sense to stick with them and just feed our current customer base from the website to them. So that's the thought process on that. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys have opinions about that? Anybody disagree? Anybody think I'm an idiot? Tim. What are you guys building? Let me know what you're building and working on. I would love to know what you guys are doing. Tim, you better be building a project. You're always in here. Might as well be building something. Instead of just watching basketball on the other screen. You hear the Portland Trailblazers are getting bought? Did you hear that? North Carolina Hurricanes owner getting an actual sports owner this time around. Here we go, finally. Okay, so let's go over the program here. So last night I did some learning about what async versus sync was when it came to doing these kind of processes. And so I so from my understanding, what we can do is we can use async basically to Python runs things in an order where we have this line, it executes, then it runs this line, then it executes. Oh, we call a function in this line, goes and does that function, returns the value, executes, next line, next line, next line. Cool. That's how Python works. But we have this library called async.io. Async.io that I was learning about last night in my studies. Async.io will allow us to define functions as async. And what async does, I guess, now you guys can help me out with this. If any of you guys have a better definition, please bear forward the fruits. But what async does is that it does not, it doesn't break that process by, like, it allows us to do multiple things at once without, like, it's kind of hard to explain in a way because I'm pretty new to it, but from my understanding is that we can, you can take it, think of like, now I don't want to go too deep into this because I'm really not that great, but like threads, I guess, are probably getting a part of this stuff, like running on different threads of the server or on your own machine. But just like think of, like, rather than just executing line by line, we can have something run, and while we're waiting for a response back from that function or whatever, that async function, we will continue on with our calls basically downward. So think of, like, if I'm trying to get some data from a website and I call this function and it's async and it has the await call within it, which will await the response, and that just means that it will call that method and await whatever is coming, but in the meantime go ahead and just continue on with the next processes, and when I get my response back, then we can continue on. Now let me know if that is actually what is going on here. Hey Austin, how's it going, dude? Welcome back in. So I I had to get a lot of help with this just to kind of work my way through learning async and B playwright. But the methods themselves were pretty easy to understand. So let's just go through what's going on here. So you just have this main playwright kind of script opener here, just to open a browser with either Chrome, Firefox, or something else, whatever. Not, I don't, whatever. So we're just going to use Chrome here and open up the Chrome browser, right? And we launch this in headless mode false so we can see what's going on. For debugging, I wanted to see what's going on. We can, now this is just saved in a browser. And as you can see, this has this await. So this is going to call this browser and await the response, but it's going to set up a page, but it'll wait whatever the browser's returns. So that depends on this stack, and then it's going to wait the page. So all these kind of do depend on the browser. So there isn't really much we can do here with these kind of async functions, but they're built this way so that, and I'm trying to understand this myself. So if any of you, Tim, more experienced fellers, have a better web dev gurus out there, have a better explanation, please share. Okay, so then I wrote this function called scroll to bottom of page. Now, why am I doing that? Well, I was doing some digging on the Depop website. Let's go ahead and actually load this thing up. Let me do file, private window here. And let me do Depop. One second, fellers. So here's the shop, right? Pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool. And what was I talking about? Okay, so look what happens here. So I'm going to refresh the page here. If I go inspect, right? Let's drag this. Oh, come on. Not what I wanted to do. Refresh. Here we go. Okay. Okay, so let's look this up. So what I did last night was, I went through this DevTools, and I went through I kept going as I was highlighting through this section, and I kept opening up the further and further into these containers that contained the clothing grid, right? So here it is. It's this ordered list, right? And these are the list items, right? So, and then these list items, within each of these list items have a href here with wrapped in an anchor tag. So they have this anchor tag, which is an href, which is the link to the item itself. So if I open a new tab here, so now this brings up the item, and this is where we're wanting to actually do a lot of the parsing to get the information, right? We're wanting to get the title and the price and the sub price and the description and whatever else we're trying to get out of it, right? So now you might see here is that there's only like 50 or so items here, but the site has like a couple hundred, right? So watch what happens as I scroll. Oh, you see that? Ready, 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 ready. It's going to happen again here. Get ready for it. Ready? Watch right here. Watch right here as I scroll. Come on, where are you at? No? Is it not going to happen? Well, it did it that one time. Not sure what happened. Go back. Oh, so that must have been all the items. It just loaded them all right there. So maybe that was all of them that just loaded. Right. Or, oh, what it's doing, I think what it's doing is it's unrendering items that aren't on the screen. Ah, that's what it's doing, I think. So it's, okay, got you. So it's keeping like a maximum kind of chunk. So that's what's kind of going on here. Everybody following along? I'm finished building my personal site. I'm retired now until next summer. All right. So, what's going on here? So what I'm doing is if that's the case, I wonder. So I have this function here I wrote which will scroll to the bottom of the page. I had to get some help with these guys here. Did not know how to do this actual scroll, but you just evaluate and then you do window scroll to 0 to the document body scroll height. So let's do chunk, which is an int. Right, let's do chunk. So instead of this, I'm gonna do the chunk here, right? And so I'm gonna give a scroll to scroll so while so if I do, let's do -1 here for previous height. Let's say while previous height does not equal to new height, well, new height isn't defined here. What if I say new height is initially equal to if I say new height 0 right off the bat. So on the first pass, they're not going to be equal to one another. And then we scroll down the chunk, we wait for a certain period of time for elements to load, and then we get whatever the new height is that we're at, which is the current scroll height. And then if the new height is equal to the previous height, meaning we've reached the bottom of the page ever, we've stopped increasing height, right, we break. But if we don't, we've set previous equal to new height. Oh, so this will break then, hold on. So the previous height will become equal to new height, and so this won't ever enter again. So what if you just set new height to just 1 greater than previous height? Because then it'll just get overwritten here until you break. So if you just kind of increase new height by 1, just arbitrarily, just to stop it. So if we say scroll page, right, and then we're going to give it a chunk 1000. So I might need to stir the chunk in order for that to work. Let's see if this works. So this will scroll to the chunk of 1000. So we're going to scroll to the chunk. So we'll say while true. Okay, so this is going to return if we return false, we return what should I do here? I'm trying to scroll the page in 1,000 pixel chunks, and then what I'm going to do is loop the entire page. So scroll page needs a return of value, right? So if the height, once we're going to return true or return false, so we're done. So while scroll page, given the page and a chunk of 1,000, so while we're getting true for this, can you do that with a function call in a while loop? So while await scroll page 1,000, we're going to run our get product URLs. So we'll say get product URLs of the page. And then I will say, this is going to return URL. And I'm going to say all URLs is equal to an empty list here. And we just we'll just append the URLs, the return value. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to call write data on all URLs here. Right. So let's see if this works. Oh wait, get product URLs. Hey, we hit 2,800. 2,800! All right, we gotta have a party here. Here we go. Let me put on the headphones. Come on. Come on, Mr. Sexy, connecting up. We connecting up. Come on. All right, we gotta have a party, boys. Let me load up. Let me load up here. What song are we gonna listen to? 2,800. 2,800 on deck. 8 0. Come on, what are we gonna listen to? I feel like we gotta listen to like a real song. I'll have to like pause. I'll have to cut it out of the monitor I'll have to cut it out. We're gonna listen to. Let me see. We'll have to cut it out of the. We'll have to cut it out of the VOD. I don't know which one should we do. I have an idea of what I want to do, but I don't know what album it's on. What album it is on? It's not on the. It's not on not on that. No way it's on this one. Um, let's look at my Spotify. We look on the Spotify. If any of you guys can guess the artist, can you guess the artist? If any of you can guess the artist. No way, I don't have it liked. Oh, come on, Mike. Um, which one is it? This is so lame. Come on, Mike, you gotta find it. I don't remember the name, but I have it in my mind. What? Where is it? Um, who's got the artist? Anybody got the artist? Mm. Am I trolling? Dude, am I trolling? I swear it was. I swear it was him. Um, it's not this. No, it's not this. Ah, I don't know. I can't figure it out. I gotta try to find it here. I'm listening. Oh my! I just bumped my thing. Come on, Mike, you're just flopping. The 2800 is going downhill. We're losing people. Um, dude, I swear I thought it was on this album. Let me redo the screen cap here. John Kidd. Dude, Tim, how did you guess? Which one is it? Yeah, dude, these are good. That was a good one too. Hold on. Oh, we gotta find. Anyone got any good recommendations? I'm just trolling. Beethoven's greatest hits. Yo, what's up, Big Mama? Mohammed, how's it going? We got 2,800. We trying to find a song to do a little jive to, but we are okay. We gotta just pick a song here. Let's just go for it. Let's do. Oh, let's do this. Um, let's do this one. This is such a banger. This is such a banger. Let's get back into the programming here. Thank you guys for hanging with me and while we jammed a little bit. What you guys know about this one? Big shake up here. All right, let's get to the chill. Let's chill, 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 chill. All right, thank you guys so much for 2,800. I really appreciate all the love. I really appreciate all the love. That was Kickstart My Heart. Go listen to that one off stream if you want to really pump up. Put that in the car on your way to work. You'll get to work and you'll have a productive day. I really, really appreciate everybody, supporting me day in, day out. It's some days it's honestly, I'm gonna be transparent. It's not easy to get up here every single day. It is easy to just be in my house, and it is easy in the environment, right? But it's not easy to get up, and just some days you just don't want to. But we keep pushing, and the hard work is paying off. We are learning. We're growing fast here, and I really appreciate everybody hanging out with me day in and day out as we learn here. Hey Atlas, how's it going? Welcome in, you guys. All right, so we're currently writing this web parser script. We're going to watch the MIT 6.00002 next lecture, the lecture 7 here, probably in about at 9 o'clock. We'll watch it at 9, so we wrap up at around 10. That's fine with me. I did start a little bit later today as I got off work a little bit late. So stick around for about 20 more minutes, and we'll start the MIT 6.00002 lecture 7 on confidence intervals. We're taking that course. It's the Introduction to Computational Thinking and Data Science course for MIT Open Courseware, the second semester. It's the kind of after you get through the introductions of Python, it gets more intermediate and advanced, like in algorithms and kind of data science thinking. And so I wanted to kind of see a more formalized courseware of that, rather than I just kind of independently doing it for the past 6 months, kind of into more advanced intermediate levels of Python and stuff. So thank you guys so much for your support, and let's keep on grinding. We'll start that in 20 minutes. But I'm just going over what I wrote here for my Depop scraper, which is basically just going through and getting the product URLs of all of the items on the page. So because then we're going to go through and actually open up pages for those and get the information from them. So let's go ahead and get this started, or get this going, right? So I want to show you guys what else we have here and see if this works. So right now we're going to get all URLs and see if that works, these implementations we made here. So let's try it. Opens up, scrolls, scrapes, and we got data.txt, blank. Shoot. So it's opening the page and it's doing a scroll. So I think it's obviously the scrolling mechanism here isn't working, because we're getting product URLs from the page. We're going to get all of them into a list and then append that chunk, and then say it's successful found, and then return those product URLs, and those being appended here. And then we're doing that for every chunk of 1,000 chunks, or 1,000 pixels per chunk on the page. So how can I get what's going on here that's wrong? So we're going up to stir chunk. What happens if I just leave this as chunk rather than converting to a stir, like as just an integer? Right, will that not even work? Yeah. Oh, so no, we got rid of previous height, right? So we'll say while true, right? And we'll say this is going to evaluate and go from 0 to the current chunk. Okay, so right off the bat, your current height is 0. Right, your current height is 0. Or sorry, previous height is 0. And then your current height is whatever your current scroll height is, which I might make 0 at the start. So hold on, let's just think about this. So if we evaluate the scroll from 0 to the chunk, so 0 to 1,000, we're going to time out so we can let things load for a second. Let's maybe let things load for like 750 milliseconds. And then let's go ahead and we grab a new height, which is the current scroll height of the body. So if the previous height is equal to 0 at the start, right? Which it's not, we're going to return false. So now we're going to set previous height equal to the new height and continue forward until we reach a point where new height and previous height equal to one another and the loop stops, meaning we've reached the bottom of the page. So on each but the thing is, okay, so what's going on here? We're going to call while true here. We're going to or I guess it only returns false and doesn't return true ever. Unless we have it return true outside of the loop, which it'll never really do. Right. Hey Zephyr, sorry. Scrape up, chill, Tim, chill. Hey Pascal, how's it going, dude? Welcome in. We've got 36 people in here. Thank you guys so much for showing the love. I appreciate if you guys could throw a like. My name's Michael. I'm a biochemist. I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry, and I work as a formulation chemist for a biotech company where I manufacture and formulate controls. Kind of specialize in like manual matrix manipulations to predict theoretical yields of kind of serum pools. And I've been teaching myself how to code for a little over a year now, just doing various fun projects. Right now I'm working on a side project for me and my girlfriend's small business. Trying to kind of automate the system and kind of get it more, it makes money, so I work on things that make money, right? It's kind of like we're kind of turning it more into like, rather than like a brick and mortar type of clothing business, more of like a tech-based clothing business honestly. Twitch gang getting absolutely hammered tonight. Yeah, thank you guys so much for all the love. This is awesome. We're gonna watch 6002 course tomorrow. I mean, not tomorrow. Tonight in about 13 minutes. We're gonna watch in 13 minutes. We're gonna start the next lecture. Unless you guys want me to keep going on this script we're writing here. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to loop until I get to the end of the page. See, that's what it's doing here though. This is doing a scroll a certain chunk. Oh, so maybe this is going to scroll the entire page. Okay, so maybe I should yield the page in between each go, make this like a generator almost. So if we scroll a certain chunk, we are going to await the page, evaluate the page. We're gonna scroll. We're gonna wait for things to happen. We are going to yield right. We're gonna yield the page at that point in time. And we're going to break out of this loop if we ever hit to the end of the page. And we return nothing. So let's see here. Will that work? Can we yield the page just here? Like it's not like indented. I've never really used yield a lot before. So if we loop over the entire page, well, we don't need to do that. The scroll page is going to do this. Right? It's going to yield us back values. And then we call get products of those pages. Anybody better at yield than I am? Object async generator can't be used in await expression. Okay, so we can't await a generator. So it's detecting that this is a generator. Okay, and so then async generator object has no attribute wait for selector. Wait for selector. Here. So this is an async generator. Oh, so this gave us the very cool, Pascal. Still had 20 years dev experience, but mostly doing AI. Went back and shook it to school and everything. Nice, dude. I've been thinking about maybe, you know, masters and maybe like if I start getting into machine learning, that's what we're gonna do at the back half of 6002 and start getting into 100 days in ML. Maybe like a master's in ML or something. I'm not sure. Hey, Inheritance, how's it going, dude? Formidable thunder, the thunder. Okay, so this yields us back a generator, right? This yields us page. I'm curious. I'm not going to ask too much detail here. I'm going to say, don't show me code, but I have a question. I am interested in async generators, and if I am scrolling a page using Playwright in Python and yielding the page on 1,000 chunk scrolls, on 1,000 chunk scrolls, do I have to loop into the generator that was returned? And then I'm gonna say, like, I'm just gonna give it my scroll page function here. That's all I'm gonna give it. Here is my function I wrote. Don't write code. If you make a scroll page async generator like that, nothing will actually happen until you iterate over it. When you call the scroll page chunk, you're not running the scroll logic immediately. You're just getting back an async generator object to make it run and yield each page. You must consume it with something like an async for loop or equivalent, because each iteration of that loop triggers the next chunk of scrolling. So yes, you just have to loop into it, otherwise iterate over it to make the scrolling steps execute. Just calling the function won't scroll the page at all. It won't set up a generator. Bingo. Okay, so we have our page generator, right? And so we're gonna say for page in page gen, right? So the point I'm doing this is so I can asyncly trigger scrolls and then product renders on and off, rather than having just synchronous one by one calls stacked on top of each other. Render out this chunk, then do that. Render out that chunk, do that instead. So now my bot or my scrape is a little bit faster. I'm rendering. I'm rendering by scrolling. I'm saving product, and while I'm saving product, I'm rendering the next chunk. Right? That's kind of my thought process here. Am I right here, guys? So for page in page gen, all URLs.append will wait the get products of that said page. And we're going to write data of all URLs and close the browser. So let's see what happens. Show me the money. Oh! Async generator object is not iterable. No way. It's happening because async generators are not regular iterables. You cannot. Oh, so I have to do async for. Sorry, I have to do a. Is it a wait for? No. Async for. Come on. No. Oh. Dang it. Playwright implies error, page evaluate syntax missing after argument. What? Await self-wrap API call. I have no idea what this means. Any idea? Any idea what this means? Page evaluate not from Python itself. Okay. Oh. We got somewhere. It did something, dude. We found 72 items on certain scrapes. So I'm going to do this though. I'm going to say set. I don't want dupes in case we accidentally overlap on a chunk. Right? So this says file right line plus backslash n. Can only concatenate list, no. Line 57. Oh, line is a list? Why is line a list? Depop has an API that returns JSON? Interesting. Might have to look into that. I want to also get the images as well. I'm not sure if it returns images in the JSON, like in binary, like in a something form. I'm not sure. Okay, so we are trying to concatenate a list here with a backslash n call on the line. But why am I'm writing all URLs here, which is a set of URLs. Let me try it one more time here and see if I get a different error now that I changed it to set. On hash build the type. Oh, so this just says, this returns a list of product URLs. So let me just do this. Let me say, let me do set here, and then let's union these sets together, right? So product errors, return product URLs, and let's do not append but add, and then we will say all URLs here, we will add to all URLs. And we're going to write all URLs. So this is going to return, we're not going to add. We're going to is it just this? $72 found, $72 found. I don't think it got them all. I think it overrode. So I don't want to union equal. What is, where are my notes for this guy? Where was it? It was in our book notes of, and our repos directory. I have notes on this. Hold on, guys. I'm not gonna ask AI. I'm gonna go my notes I wrote. Repos. Let's go Fluent Python. No, not chapter 5. Not chapter 4. It'd be chapter 2, I think. Creating. Chapter 3. Yeah, chapter 3. Okay, chapter 3. says, from my notes here, we can take a set. Union combines two or more sets into a single set containing all unique elements involved in the sets. That's what I thought. Thought that's what we're doing. We have a set of all URLs. We are merging this set with this set. It's returned for the page. So let's see, that got 72 items back, but might be doing too many. The chunks might be too big. Let me do it in 250 pixel chunks. $48. Just trying, what are you doing? Trying to script the page. You can keep the logic of adding into the list and then just convert it into a set. It's easier than using sets in my experience. That's true as well. Because we should be getting like 200 and something items, like, right? Scroll to the bottom of the page. It's rendering the items new. Why did it close my thing? That's where the grid item ends. Oh, so then you have a section for sold items. So is that still the same product grid of 3VL3U? 3VL3U. 3VL3U. Styles product grid. So it's still in the same class. This is the available items if you div. Been a while since I popped in. How's it been? What are we working on? Hey, Code by Chris. How's it going, dude? Hey, K-Pax. What's going on, everybody? Got a ton of people popping in here. You guys are awesome. We're trying to figure out how we can scrape all of these items off of our page here. This is our page. So we're not doing anything against the rules. It's our page. But I'm trying to get my data off of the page here so I can kind of sync it up with kind of like a hub almost. So I'm going chunk by chunk. I don't really want to go to the GPT yet, but I might have to ask for some help to get some guidance here. So I'm not really sure why. It's yielding the page back. Yield the page generator. No, hold on. Page.evaluate this chunk. Scroll. And then we wait on the page. And we yield that back. But that's not really... We're not wanting to yield the page back. We want to yield... Yeah, right? I thought... Hey, Insomniac, we're scraping our Depop page here. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to say... I'm having some trouble with my functions. I am not getting all the items on the page. I'm getting... Should release tank. Blue, black textured long sleeve. So I think it's just, this is just a random chunk that was taken. Don't write code. The couple of subtle issues when scrolling a page in chunks that can cause you to miss items. Fixed scroll offsets. If you always scroll to a fixed chunk amount, you might stop shorter content that loads just after the last scroll. Timing of content loading. Wait for timeout. 750 is a fixed wait. If the page takes longer than that. You compare new height to previous height of segment stop if the page dynamic loads items in ways that don't immediately increase. Yielding page immediately after scrolling. Scroll to the current bottom instead of a fixed chunk. That's what I had implemented before. I thought we could try to optimize it. What are my changes I made? Yo, Guppy! How's it going, dude? Okay, this is gonna be quite the backtrack here, but let's see how far back we can go. I don't think I get pushed on my last edits. Let's see how far back we can go here. Okay, so does this work? Scrolls to the bottom. Lets all content load. Scrolling. 236 items found. 236 items successful written to data text. And there we have all of them. So the last item should be the blue nearly slit sheer maxi slip, and the first item is lilac lace tank. So this is my first iteration I wrote. I tried to optimize it with some async chunk writing, but it didn't really work that well. I couldn't get it to work. So this one's not bad, it's just a little slow. That's kind of the only issue I really have with it. It's just a little slow. So let's go here and let's look. We should have lilac tank. So, right, there's the link that we pulled from there. And the last one we should have is this guy. I'm going to pull this one off stream. I don't know if this is very sheer. No, it's not. Okay, it's fine. This one should be nearly sheer maxi slip. Blue nearly sheer maxi slip. Perfect. So that is items from top to bottom. Now, that says sold. Okay, so we're getting all the items now. So we have a successful script here that does what we want initially. No, get out of here, cheap viewers. Always. Yeah, I haven't been committed enough, I know. I wrote this little bit. Because there was a lot of traffic after work. I got done around like 5:30. No. Yeah. I got run down around like 5:15ish when I finished with my tasks. And then I wrote this at my desk on my laptop while I was waiting for traffic to die down because it was over an hour to get home. So I waited for it to die down to 45 minutes, and then I took off. But I forgot to commit after work. I was just on the fly. So we got to commit right here. This is where we got to commit. What do I want to say? I don't know. What should we say? Depop scraper, scroll, and parse. Depop page. I don't know. All right. I had the formatter black. I really didn't like it. I thought the black formatting was so ugly. So I've been, this is how I've been formatting. I just kind of naturally format it this way. So I kind of read it this way. But I had black installed and it was just too aggressive. Is there like a black, they got to change the name. That sounds wrong. It was just too, yeah. Guppy! I appreciate you coming in again, dude. You're awesome. Insomniac. Yeah, so we're trying to scrape the images as well. My favorite biochemist. Thank you so much, dude. Hey, Pax, we're learning, we've been teaching ourselves Python for the past little over a year now with some other languages. We've done some projects in React using Tailwind CSS, raw CSS, and HTML. We've done, but majority of stuff is in Python. Yeah, I'm avoiding JavaScript like the plague. So we're scraping with Playwright. It's just a pretty easy library with Python. It's kind of used in a lot of different languages. It's got a lot of good different incorporation or support. But it's really easy. I just had to kind of learn some basic boilerplate to get the page loaded, but the methods are pretty easy. But what's really tricky for me is this kind of stuff where I have to kind of know the JavaScript method notation basically for some of I had to look a lot at this scroll function. I had to get a lot of help with because I really had no idea where to start with this. But okay, so what we're successfully doing though, let's run this. I'll show you guys what's happening. Let's do a quick little overview, and then should we do MIT today? Should we watch the lecture, or do you guys think we should keep doing this? Not gonna, yeah, Timothy, that's so funny. I love that, Tim. Tim, we have another Tim in here. You gotta run for your money, Mr. Tim. Thanks for coming in, Timothy. True devs trouble coming up with a good Git message, knowing full well no one's ever, I'm not gonna read it later ever. That's so true. Gets buried in all of them. Especially if it's just by me, right? That's so funny. Is that like a dev meme? Are we if we're starting to understand dev memes, are we starting to become like aware? Are we starting to like, is that how we know we're progressing? Is we're starting to fit the stereotypes? Okay, so what we're doing here is we're just opening up a Chrome browser, we're opening up a page, and we're going to a link. We're using async here so we can do things asynchronously, which is basically means making calls but moving on to the next thing. While we're not limited by the call, we can move on if allowable, and still have that kind of thing running. I think it kind of also plays on the idea of like multiple threads on servers. I really have no knowledge on computer hardware really yet. I'm hopefully going to get into there soon, but yeah, so then we're going to scroll to the bottom of the page so we can allow the DOM to fully load all of its contents. But as we scroll within these within the current height of the viewport or whatever, right? We are going to time out for a second to let things load. So I think a full second might be a little long. So let's do like 600 milliseconds, or maybe like 750 to start. And then let's see if we can get back the full, what is it, 200 and something. Now we're going to then evaluate the height at that current scroll. And if we ever get to a point where our height ever repeats itself, we know we've reached the bottom of the page, so we can just bow out. And then what we're going to do is, now that we've reached the bottom of the page, we're going to get all the product URLs. So this one was pretty easy to write. I didn't really have to get any help for this one. I wrote this one last night, and I was able to kind of figure it out by understanding, okay, it just wants the class, right, or the class kind of, itself. You can kind of reference it like this according to the docs and just basically query all of them, or wait for this selector to load first and then go ahead and query all of them so you have it there. And so then we're just going ahead and querying all of the products with this on the page with this class, and then we are going to go ahead and store them within these objects, and we're going to loop over that iterable. And now we're going to loop over that iterable. Now I wonder, should I put async here for a for loop? Would that be beneficial? I really don't know. I'm still trying to learn that. So I'll probably have to figure that out. And then we're just going to get all the anchor tags, and then get the href within the anchor tag, and then append that. So the href is just the product URL, because we're going to end up having to go to this page and extract out some more detailed information regarding like the contents. Like, girlfriend got some photos on here that might not be YouTube. So like product page here has more information, description, pricings, sizings, right? Now, because out front here, it's just kind of blank, which they should put like a little size indicator in the corner, in my opinion, for this view, because this really doesn't help me as a shopper for knowing what kind of clothes fit me, because that's a huge flag, right? I think they should put like a little flag in the top right corner or left corner of a size indicator. Come on, Depop, hire me. Come on, get me on the team. Get me on the team. Should I apply to Depop after this project? Be like, yo, I wrote this. using your site. Yeah, so it's pretty cool so far. Should we watch MIT? Or do you guys think we should continue on with this for today? Should we watch MIT to wrap it up? We got to start now if we're going to watch because it's 50 minutes. What do you guys think? Or should we save it for tomorrow? What do you guys think? Why are you doing this? Just for fun? Yeah, pretty much. But this is my girlfriend and I's site. I am the developer for Birdie Rose Clothes, I guess. That's one of my occupations. Self-employed occupations, I guess. So I'm currently doing this to learn more about this overall process, web dev, and kind of scripting over web things with Python, but also I want to do this so I can... My goal is to... I kind of talked about it, is to like, if by scraping over the current products, I want to build a site for Birdie Rose Clothes, and then I can feed, I can basically mimic the mock-up here of Depop and then feed people into Depop to purchase rather than having to use carts and checkouts on my own site. I don't need to do all that if I have a service that's doing it for me that's fairly cheap in the terms of Depop doesn't charge fees really. Like they do, but it's very minimal. They're pretty, fair. So I could just feed the users to the Depop and leave it at that, right? With the products displayed on my page, and then I can run the script to also clear out products that aren't there. So I could develop like another script that would compare products that are currently scraped versus products that are currently on my page and compare the difference, unionize the set or whatever, and then not unionize the set but ampersand the set. And is that the right? Uh-oh, we're gonna have to pull it out again here. Pull it out again here. Returns a new set with the common elements between the two or more sets. Yeah. So we would only get the common elements between the two sets, leaving off the ones that were already bought. Well, actually, we would have to maybe do a little bit more because the Depop is going to have accumulation of all items, and items don't get wiped off the Depop. They have sold items listed just below. So what we're going to have to do is distinguish sold versus available and then compute the comparison that way, right? What do you guys think? It's quite a bit nicer when you change the width to 120 characters. Oh, you're saying like the format for black. I was looking for Depop. Let's look. Depop API. Engineering at Depop. Oh, there might be. A simple no bells and whistles REST API client optionally support async requests. Use a service request to heterogeneous microservice environment. PopKit. Things are intended to be configured primarily with a Python file. such as in your existing Django settings, Pi API client, service config base red things.dpop.com, get things, endpoint things, strings, archetype, returns a client method you can call with perform like get things from this target. The data is already deserialized. Under Python 3, there's further distinction about serial and bytes. Other content types will return bytes. Is API endpoint a base class? This is from Depop. Results is a client method you can call, which will perform a request. If the response was content application data, then data was already serialized. Content type. If the response was this. Let's look here. There's site maps. Oh, these are just like links basically to interesting. So not GitHub, web DBA API v3 shop here, products limit 24. This is the same thing I looked at before. Product Biochemist 3. Things Get things method you can call. Query args are callable. So this is just a interesting. Depop's API have an API like this was really So what is this get? I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna say, what is this? Python library designed to facilitate making REST API calls in declarative manner. Allows our developers to define API endpoints and parameters in Python. Supports asynchronous requests, configured via Python files. But is it a Depop API? Used by Depop, designed as a simple declarative REST API client, so it's needs to be requested in a clean and maintainable way, optionally supporting HTTP operations. However, it's important to note that PopGet is not an official Depop API. Depop does not support publicly available API for external developers. As a result, any interaction with Depop's platform using PopGet would be internal to Depop's infrastructure and not intended for external use. For instance, the Depop product details page scraper API allows extraction of detailed products data from Depop, including, so what is this? Depop product deprecating. Interesting. Yeah, I don't think they do have one. Hey Charlie, you been playing some Battlefield? Doing a, let's see. Is it very fun? Is it free to play for the weekend? Or what's the catch? that uses their web app to use like shots, probably listening. I don't know if I can tap into their internal API. Calling endpoint intended for their web app. Unlike public API, they haven't documented or given permission for externally. Interesting. I wonder, yeah. So it's an internal API. That's interesting. Okay, let's just code up here some last little bits before we end today's stream. So now that we have all the product URLs, let's write a function that will open each product URL in a new page, parse the data from the product page, close the product page. Okay. Yeah, free-to-play beta that ends this Sunday and then full game release October 10th. You're a programmer that wants to get a chemistry degree. That's cool. That's funny. Job market is just as bad over there too, my guy. It's I think it's even worse in my opinion. Open each product URL. Okay, so we need to have like a prefix that's going to equal to a string, which is HTTPS. And let's go to the Depop here. Let's click on the product page. So it's this guy here. HTTPS, products, burritos close, and then it's this. So does the hyphen come in this? So this says slash products, burritos close slash. Okay, so then this should just be, depop.com is the prefix we need. That's it. HTTPS www.depop.com. Right, so that's the only prefix we need here. Right, and we don't even need the slash, no? Because the slash is with the products. Yeah, slash products. Okay. So we're going to go to this prefix. We have this prefix. We're going to say for product, for URL in product URLs, we're going to say full URL is equal to the prefix plus the URL. And then I'm going to, just in case there shouldn't be, but I'm going to call this with a strip method. I'm gonna call it with the strip method there, so we can get rid of any white space in case there is any by accident, just to save our bacon. So we can say full URL is equal to prefix plus URL, and then we can say product page is equal to await browser dot page or new page called dot, then we're say page dot go to full URL, right? And then I guess we'll await that. So we go to the product URL, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close. So I'm going to say product page dot close. Okay, let's see what happens. Goes to the bottom. Okay. Okay, so we'll say it's not async for loop here. It's just we're just looping over all the product URLs. Let's try it. Let's try it here. We're trying it. We're cooking. Hey, we gained like almost like I think we gained 25 subs today. Thank you guys so much. It's huge. Oh boy! Stop it! No! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! No! Oh, start going crazy. Okay, so the close did not work. Why did the close not work? What is this? Page.close if run before unload is false. What if I get rid of the get rid of the await here? Oh gosh. Oh gosh, no! No! Stop it! No! 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 Stop! Stop it! Stop! There. Someone gotta clip that. Someone's gotta clip. That was fun. Okay, so this isn't working. So the pages aren't closing after we open them. So the awaits definitely slows it down. It waits for the full thing to happen. So why is the product page... Oh. Gotta get this thing ready. Anybody have any idea? Why this product page close isn't working? Do we have to await product page close? How do I max this out to full view so we can... Ah. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Channel, executable path R's, proxy, headless, slow-mo. So is there any way, let's ask it, I'll ask it here. So is there a way to make the browser full screen so the scrolls happens faster? Viewport. Okay, so launch has a maybe it's page viewport. Now, do we do like full? Let me look up, let me say page.viewport playwright. No, not page.viewport. Page, so browser dot new page viewport playwright. Okay, so arguments here for the browser, which we want to do dot page, right? New page. Where's page on here? Page. When true, takes a screenshot at the set viewport size. So I'm gonna say this then. Let's go ahead. Just take this single line. Full is not viewport value. Viewport equals none unless the Viewport none. Is it string none? You know. So there is no viewport, meaning that it will just go full page. No, that didn't work. Let's say the overall browser is so small. Viewport is a page contents of or a browser window controlled separately. Setting viewport none or a large affects the page scrollable area with the view window somebody appears. The window size when launching the browser via the launch or launch persistent content option like our window size. Via launch. So let me go back to those docs, Playwright docs for the browser. Let me look up, what was it? Launch. Okay, so it's in the launch. Downloads, traces, Chromium Sandbox returns browser. Can I make it bigger? Use args equals to window size in async playwright start launch. So it's this thingy here. That didn't work either. So the args, points about making the window bigger. Window size doesn't always work with headless files and Chrome. Instead of browser, you create a browser context with viewport none. Window size doesn't always work with launch headless equals false in Chromium on all platforms. Ignore it when using the persistent context. Use a persistent context if you want full control. Instead of browser new page, you create a browser context with viewport equals none and window size arguments. What is a browser context? Separate isolated session within the same browser instance. So you open up a browser dot new context. with a viewport and screen. So you say browser.new context. Creates a new isolated session. You can pass viewport, user agent lookups or viewport for full page scrolling. So the page matches the size of the window. When launching the browser's in headed mode, pass this. So we can take the same args here. Browser new content got nice keyword args. No. Attribute go to. Oh. Launch with Windows size. Create a context with a viewport and open pages inside that context. Say page. Yes. Important none here. We pass the R's. Coroutine object has no. Let's find this thing. Oh, that didn't work. The headless view is not making the Chromium full size. Interesting. Okay, so now it scrolls to the bottom. What happens if I make this larger? Gonna go through all of them one by one. Interesting. Okay, my leg's falling asleep. Wake up, wake up. Oh, my leg's falling asleep. Wake up, gotta shake the leg like the dog. Come on, wake up. Oh, I hate that feeling. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Okay, so I'm gonna say, I wanna get some feedback on like why this is pretty slow. So, visually, the awaits cause this to be pretty slow, but is that just a visual thing because we can process the data still while loading or whatever? The slowness you're seeing is mostly visual because of headless faults. A few things are happening. Headed mode is slower. Chromium has to actually render every page on your screen, including images, fonts, CSS, animations, etc. Okay, so let me do this. Let me say, let me enumerate this, and then let me go ahead and call, we'll say, for the index, right, and the URL, we will say print quote, we'll say I plus 1 of, and then we'll put here length of product URLs opened. And we'll see how fast this goes in our terminal. Product 1 of blank open. Okay, so let's see. Let's see what happens here. It's cool that we have like a visual thing. It's kind of, you can see it working. So it really just goes step by step. Because you wait for the contents to load. So then let's exit this. Right, and then let's go ahead and say headless. Right, let's go ahead and remove this. Right, so now let's see how fast that goes. Uh-oh. Oh, shoot. Oh, it's still in the other program. Oh, it was doing its thing. So let's let it load. Come on. Anything? No. So by turning off headless mode, it stops working. So let's just set this to true then. See what happens. Interesting. Some sites like Depop only load content once it's visible in the viewport. This is the error I'm getting. Use something like OL plus an attribute. Use the timeout wait function. So why, anybody know why that would be the case? Why setting headless to true versus false causes it to break? Yeah, like why? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, just changing bool. People's price page. I'm in the viewport. I hit this mode. Ensure your code works. To set a large viewport width or equals to none. To make headless, you might need to say viewport none in what? In what? The page or browser? So say viewport none for the page here. True. Let me say print browser open. Let me say print page open. open. Scroll does work. Here, link open. Scroll complete. Oh, I think it's just opening stuff. Might be working. Let me go ahead and delete this. Run here. So the scroll's complete. Product print. So get product URLs is not working. There is no like maybe wait for selector. So that's the problem here. So let's say, okay, it is the get product URLs. They are not I am guessing that in headless mode this is not working. Almost certainly the culprit. The wait for selector is waiting for that element to appear, but the viewport element would be too small to trigger depops lazy load of the element. Neither gets added to the DOM or it appears delayed in a way the wait doesn't detect. On Devo. Even if the DOM playwright might consider not visible yet. Using a larger viewport, so lazy and waiting for the code. Found product grid, print, found products, scroll complete. Not found products. So let me go here and click this. So let me go ahead and comment this out. You see, await query select all of these. Page query selector all line items. This doesn't get this. Yeah, how do you debug an headless? So your code works even with hash changes. Wait for selector. Can I say OL here? Let me first put this into headed mode false and see what that returns us. Opens it, scrolls to the bottom. Okay, got it. Okay. So then, so it got the OL. So then can I just do just line items in the OL? Now this will give me a value. This will give me P. Right, and I'll do ol.query selector all like this. Instead of relying on a fragile hash, just wait for the container elements generically. Inside that container. That's not my problem either. Honestly, I don't think the DOM is loading. I think it might be loading too fast in headless mode. I don't think it ever does load. Right, so I think, okay, that still didn't fix it. I think that in headless, it scrolls too fast. Maybe? Your scroll button function probably scrolls in rapid succession behind. Some sites load items when they only visit the viewport. If you scroll too fast, headless scrolling might skip triggering visibility, so the item never gets added to the DOM. In headed mode, the browser renders frames slowly enough that lazy. In headless mode, without delays, page finishes scrolling before content delays. Your selector sees nothing. So if we say wait for timeout. I do a 700 at the end of the scroll. I do have that. Even with the weight that some of these are going to do. Viewport height versus scroll height jumps to the absolute bottom instantly. Oh boy. So we're never even getting to the selector here for this. We can't find it. Right? So then we'll say, what if we just put like 1,000 here? All right, guys, I think I'm going to bed. It's 10:30 here. We've been doing 2.5 hours. I can't figure out this bug. We'll have to take another crack at it tomorrow. We're getting caught right here. The page in headless mode isn't on our scroll. Maybe let's do this. Let's page, wait for selector for the OL before we move on to the next scroll. So then we're not even getting to, so here, let me print new height. So it just scrolls right to the bottom. Okay, I found it. It is just insta scrolling the bottom, and the OL is not being detailed. Scroll incrementally by viewport height or smaller pixel chunks. So we do 100. So what would have to change here? That would have to become like this. Oh, that's just going from 0 to, so we'll say, so if we say scroll from the previous height to the previous height of 100 and evaluate no, that's not going to work either. Makes sense. This, but for this, body dust roll, previous height equals so we say previous height equals to the page evaluate the weight here. We scroll for previous height. Height equals to I can't say that either. It's not funny, it's too fast. Alright guys, so I'm going to take up off today. Thanks so much for joining me today. Super awesome stream, lots of new people. Thank you guys so much for being here. I got a Discord link down below. You can get access to all of my information. I'll be back tomorrow around 7 p.m. PST. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow. We'll continue on and watch the MIT lecture and continue this project. So see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night, guys. Bye.